Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Lockie Brown Football Weekly Roundup on, which is my own channel's name, to avoid confusion with Lockie Does Footy on the other channel. We are here to do the tipping for round 21, the review of round 21, the ladder of after round 21, and predictions for round 22, and the time machine episode. Next segment yet again. I hope you enjoy the show. Well, would you look at that? We are no longer going to be saying the Footscray Bulldogs this week, as they have just reverted back to the Western Bulldogs. Last week they versed Melbourne for their retro round at Marvel Stadium. The Bulldogs, they paid tribute to their 1954 premiership team, winning by 51 points. Same margin they won the grand final in 70 years ago. Marcus Bontempelli had a great game, 33 disposals, 5 tackles and 2 goals. Adam Treloar, another 30-possession, 2-goal game. Bailey Dale had 34 touches down back. Let's go to the goal kickers. Cody Waitman, 2 goals, 3. Jamara Ugle-Hagan, 2 goals, 6. If he kicked straight, he could have got 8. Aaron Norton kicked 2 goals for the Dogs. Well, the only player to report from Melbourne in this game was Max Gawn. He had 44 hitouts, 23 disposals, and a goal. For the Western Bulldogs, well, can they keep their top 4 hopes alive? As for Melbourne, well, their season's pretty much done and dusted. Their season's just about, well, finished. West Coast versus Gold Coast at Optus Stadium, the other Friday night game. West Coast, they led in the first quarter, then Gold Coast led all the way up to the last quarter. And then after that, West Coast kicked the last 2 goals of the game to win by 10 points. Let's check the player stats real quick. Starting off with the goal kickers, Jake Waterman kicked 4 goals for the Eagles. The 2 Beds, Long and King, 6 goals each. That's 3 goals for Long and 3 from King. Mac Andrew kicked 3 goals as a forward. Terrell Dewar, 2 goals. Jared and Oscar Allen, 2 goals. Let's take a look at the player report. Well, it's been pretty much a good all-round team effort for the Eagles. Best player for the Gold Coast was Jared Witts. 21 hit disposals and 53 hitouts. West Coast, it was a good character win for them. They needed that win to get ready for next season. As for Gold Coast, well, don't bother about going away trips anymore. If you live in the Gold Coast, don't bother going to the airport. Just spend some time at Wet n Wild or Movie World or something. That would be better. North Melbourne versus Richmond at Marvel Stadium, the game of the season. Well, although Richmond led most of the game, looked like they were going to finally win at Marvel for the first time in 3 years. However, the Kangaroos came back to win by 13 points. That was a great win from North Melbourne. For the goal kickers to begin with, Nick Larkey. Well, I set the 105 mark for him. Well, he's nowhere close to it. He's only kicked 5 goals. It's a bit of a downhill year for him. But he's looking to finish the year off strong. Luke Davies-Uniacke with 3 goals. And, well, go to the player stats now. Tristan Sherry, 45 hitouts and 20 disposals and a behind. If North Melbourne were winning more games, I'd lock him in for All-Australian Ruckman by now. Toby Nankervis, 16 disposals and 35 hitouts. Luke Davies-Uniacke, 33 possessions and 3 goals. North Melbourne, well, it's a great win for them to get off the bottom of the ladder. Can they go back to win back-to-back for the first time in a while? As for Richmond, well, how could you do that to one of your greatest players? No one, he just walked out on you after that loss and just retired. Geelong versus Adelaide at GMHBA Stadium. Well, Geelong led most of the game, and then Adelaide took the lead in the last few minutes of the third quarter. It was looking like the Adelaide Crows might snap their GMHBA drought, but the Cats got up by 5 points in a thriller. Let's check out the player stats. Jeremy Cameron, 6 goals at full forward. Well, Geelong are going to have to rely on him next season even more now that Tom Hawkins is retiring. Riley O'Brien had 53 hitouts and 15 possessions. Tom Stewart, 28 touches and 5 tackles in the midfield. Rory Laird and Jordan Dawson played pretty good. It was a great win for Geelong to keep their top 4 hopes alive. As for Adelaide, well, their GMHB8 stadium drought, it's pretty much getting close to ending very soon. Port Adelaide versus Sydney at Adelaide Oval. Nothing much to talk about. The whole game belonged to Port Adelaide. 112-point win. Well, what's the point of even purporting to player stats for this game? The whole squad played good for Port Adelaide. As for Sydney, well, I don't have much to say. That's the worst loss for a top of the ladder side in a very long time. As for Port Adelaide, well, if they can keep this form up, they could be looking good in the finals. As for Sydney, well, if they finish top of the ladder, this could be the worst minor premier I've ever seen. Collingwood versus Carlton at the MCG. What a game that was. The better Saturday night game. It was close all throughout. But, however, most of the game was dominated by Collingwood until the last quarter when Carlton came back for a bit and, well, Mitch McGovern, he choked at the attempt to end Collingwood's season, meaning the Magpies are still in the race. Well, for Collingwood, it's been more of a team effort in this match. For Carlton, their dominant players are Nick Newman with 145 points on fantasy, 34 disposals and 12 marks and 5 tackles. Sam Walsh had another ripper game with 30 possessions and 6 tackles. For Collingwood, well, it's pretty much game on again in the finals race. Bring it on. As for Carlton, their season's beginning to slip. They need to do something next week against Hawthorn, otherwise it might be a disaster. GWS versus Hawthorn at Manuka Oval in Canberra. What a comeback by the Giants. They were down by nearly 30 points in the last quarter. And then they rescued chances to win by 2 points. It was another great game of footy. Let's check out the player stats real quick. Lachie Whitfield, 37 disposals and 10 marks. And great game from him. Carl Amon, 30 disposals for Hawthorn and 4 tackles. Jesse Hogan, 5 goals, 2 and 11 marks. Lloyd Meek had 42 hitouts for Hawthorn. Jai Newcomb had 30 disposals. Blake and Toby Green kicked 3 goals for the Giants. Check out the Hawthorn goal kickers as well. Jack Gunston. He's looking like the Jack Gunston of old, kicking 4 goals. GWS, they're looking to keep their hopes of making top 4 alive. As for Hawthorn, well, their finals hopes have just hit another dent.